I'm in Alabama. First time I've been down to the state hunting. And tomorrow I'll be meeting up with the rest of the Spartan Forge crew for the veterans hunt that they have going on. But I came down a little bit early to be able to check out some of this public land, so I really only have like one day. And as you can tell, it's raining a little bit. Makes my footsteps a little bit quieter. Basically treating it kind of like a still hunt. I have a pre-planned route that'll take me through some of this hill country and then looping downwind of really big pine thicket that potentially could hold does bedding. And so I'll just move slowly through this big loop throughout the day. Haven't seen too much for deer sign yet. I did pass one tree stand, which at least, I guess in some cases could be a good sign, right? Because the guy probably wouldn't have a stand there if he never sees anything in this area. Well, I guess I can't make that assumption, but you'd like to think so anyway. I followed a scrape line up onto this ridge system. It doesn't look like they've been hit super fresh, but I got up on here and I kind of skirted over to the downwind or leeward side of this ridge system. There's a bunch of little mini points and bowls kind of going off of it, and I'll just kind of slowly work my way to where I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between this vegetative edge and the actual terrain dips where those heads of those little micro drainages come up, and just kind of slowly work through this area. Got a little bit of a crosswind, and then a little bit of raindrops and soft ground and wet ground is making it so that I can move through here decently quiet. It's the first rub I've seen all day. It doesn't look very fresh though. It's got pine needles laying over top of the shavings from the bark. You know, if I just take a step back, forget where I'm at, and look around, a lot of aspects of this land kind of remind me a little bit of some of the places I've hunted in central Missouri and a little bit even in Pennsylvania. It's pretty cool how you can be in totally different areas of the country and see such similarities. I'm maybe about halfway through the loop I wanted to get through today so far. The hills that I started in had some deer sign, not much by any means, but at least something. And I worked my way down to this creek bottom, and I'm working up through the creek bottom, and really not a ton of sign in here. I can see in the aerial photos that it looks like on the nearby private there's what looks like shooting lanes, big like rifle shooting lanes cut into some of these areas, which makes me think that deer probably do use these creek bottoms. I saw a couple tracks. They weren't crisp or clear enough to tell if they were deer or hog, although I haven't really seen a lot of evidence of like major rooting around from hogs, so it very well could be deer tracks, but again, not really a ton. But the third leg of my loop today will take me close to a big pine thicket, hundreds of acres. When I was driving around this area yesterday, at one point I got out and there was one of those pine thickets and there were deer tracks cutting through it. So we'll see. Out of all these different little ecosystems, maybe one of them is going to be the best. Just finally found a pile of droppings for the first time today. Still in that creek bottom area, but this is a region of it where the hills get up nice and close. So there's only a narrow band of flat land between the creek and the base of the hills. So I'll continue to follow this little corridor nice and slow. I've been cognizant that I'm moving a little bit faster than ideal for actually seeing animals, but so far to this point, I haven't really seen the amount of sign to make me want to go nice and slow. So far it's been more like a scouting mission than anything else. This is probably one of the fresher scrapes that I've seen. I'm still in that area where the hills neck down and get right next to the creek here. So I'm going to start slowing down, I think, at this point. I'll go another few hundred yards and I'll get to the edge of that pine thicket. Stem count looks like it's a little bit higher up in front of me as well, so I'm going to start slowing way down. At least I can say I didn't get skunked. There looked like a second deer when I was looking through the camera. I couldn't quite see it with my eyes, but it looked like behind that doe there might have been another deer. It didn't look like a buck, or if it wasn't very big. At least that's a good confidence boost that I was finally able to get into a good area. And of course, since it's the rut down here, finding does means that there could be bucks around. The season right now is also bucks only. Followed the scrape line up a ways, and I got into this nice little pocket where I got a ridge that drops off behind me, some deadfall that I can sit in, and a nice vegetation edge. And I think this is probably that trail that doe was walking on when I saw her. Well, I've been sitting here for about an hour and a half, and the rain's slowed down a little bit. It's been pretty steady, but there's a lot more cover and terrain further up into this area. So I think I'm going to pack my stuff up and keep moving on up through here nice and slow. Well, the rain finally stopped, at least for now. been continuing to work my way through this piece of land. Not surprisingly, the biggest concentration of deer sign that I found was fairly far away from the parking. It was also a place that I didn't really find any other hunter sign, and it was the place that, just looking at the map, it had the most amount of diversity in that little pocket. Well, 3 deer just came and crossed that ravine. I got my gun ready just in case, but it looked like it was just 3 does. I didn't see any bucks in the group. And it's pretty thick down there. I'm not sure I would have been able to get a shot anyway. I'm going to slowly work my way back to the vehicle, checking for more sign along the way. And then I'll start heading toward the location where that Spartan Forge veteran sun's going to be. It's in a different location. And then we'll see. That'll be a fun hunt. I'm not sure if I'll have a chance to come back out here and hunt again or not. It's kind of a long drive. But regardless, it's going to be a fun week.